Very special guest in town. Geez, we're privileged to have this guy here, given his elite sales status of this day and age. Another Bradley, Mr. Bradley Davis.
After years of closing, leading teams, training people in sales, what do you think separates those people who become elite and those who never do?
There's really no sexy answer for this. It's fucking practice.
Have you tied like your self-worth to a performance-based outcome or numbers?
What started happening for me is I started thinking, that is not me. Those numbers, they're not me. They're not who I am. Like when you're under pressure, that's when you truly learn. That's where success is, just at the back end of that.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Trainer HQ podcast. It's Brad Sheppard here and Mr. Jason Urbanowicz. How are you, brother?
Mate, I feel like we just did one.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Back to back.
Mate, look at us go, eh?
Fuck. Anyway, we're amazing.
Someone listen to this and they just go, what the fuck? I just tuned into this podcast, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We just did one, all right? We did one just before we straight into another one. All right.
Anyway, a very special guest in town. Geez, we're privileged to have this guy here now.
We are.
Given his elite sales status of this day and age. Another Bradley, Mr. Bradley Davis. How you
Hello,
going, brother?
everybody. It's very exciting to be here. It's been a while.
Has been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, mate. Used to be Friday, every Friday down here at the Trainer HQ headquarters office.
It did.
But, mate, we don't see you much these days.
No, you don't. We're still friends.
And we are friends. We are definitely friends. But what I'm saying is we fucking don't get the takeaway coffees delivered anymore, do we? We lost our coffee boy.
That's shit, actually.
Yeah.
AI can do that for you.
The old gopher. But anyway, he's back with a vengeance.
I'm back and it feels like home. It feels like home. It's been a couple of years, but it feels like home.
So, mate, after years of closing, leading teams, training people in sales, what do you think separates those people who become elite and those who never do?
The thing that makes people become elite, do you know, there's really no sexy answer for this. It's fucking practice. If you can put in the time to practice anything, you know, sales, closing, setting, it's a skill. Anybody can fucking do it. It's like kicking a football or swinging a golf club or driving a car. So if you can put the time and effort into practicing, you can be elite. The way I look at it, I'm a fucking tradie from way back from a little country town in WA. If I can fucking do it, anyone can do it is what I truly believe. So it just takes practice.
Yep.
Takes time.
And what was your experience with practice like? So, you know, paint the picture. So you go practice, anyone can do it. It's a skill. We know that. What was your experience like then?
Yeah, practicing for me was listening to calls. So I would, everything's recorded. So I'd be listening to my calls and I'd be, you know, identifying areas that I went well in, that I nailed, that I felt really comfortable in, and areas that I didn't. And it sounded fucking terrible. And I need to go back and figure out why it was terrible and then fix it. And you don't know, well, I didn't notice during the calls that it was terrible. I sometimes I felt really good through calls, and then I listened to it, maybe it was the next day, maybe it was weeks later, and I went, you are talking way too much, dude. What the fuck are you doing? So, but I wouldn't have picked that up unless I listened to my call, unless I went back and reviewed my call. So that practicing for me is, you know, reviewing what I've done. The other part is role playing. You know, get a sparring partner, get someone that you can just practice your frame and intro, or practice your discovery, or practice your pitch, or practice your closing, or practice price drop, or practice objection handling. Just practice little parts so you can get really good at those little parts, and then you put all the little parts together, and that's going to make a great process.
So there's a bit in that, and what I think, well, let me frame it this way. What do you think sales, you know, what do you think it does in terms of someone who's getting into sales, right? All the things they've got to learn and do. What does it expose about someone psychologically, you think?
Fucking everything.
Well, put it this way, like say you're in sales and I'm going to review your call. For some people, it might be awesome. That'd be great. For other people, I imagine they don't want to hear the feedback. So there's other things where you're under pressure. You know, you've got to put the practice in. You said you're reviewing calls. You're getting knockbacks and no's. So in that situation, if you want to be good at sales, what will it expose, you think, in somebody's mentality pretty quickly?
I think they're weaknesses. I think it's going to be different for everybody. I think it's going to expose your weaknesses. If you're too proud to get feedback and ego-driven potentially, that's gonna fucking expose it straight away.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs to be open to learning. Even the best closers I've worked with I've worked with closers that have been on some really top dollars that I didn't even know was possible, and they were also open to feedback. So to get to that level, you got to practice, and you've got to be willing to be exposed in whatever weakness you have, which is going to be different for everybody.
And to backtrack a moment in your experience in this area, because obviously when you're running your fitness business and that part of it, you learnt sales, and then through being a coach at Trainer HQ, you excelled in understanding sales from that perspective. But then you leaned heavily into, remote closing and so forth. So roughly how many years ago was that for you when you make that transition? About
4 years. I was still running a fitness business at the time, and I started remote closing and then went to a setter and then back to a closer about 4 years ago. And I've been on different offers around that.
So back to that question then about that from your experience of, first of all, having that feedback and calls listened to and all that sort of stuff. What was that experience like back in the early days, right from the start?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough for me because typically I've been pretty good at things that I've done, and I pick up a golf club, I can swing a golf club, and I'm good at golf. And I started driving, and I picked up that pretty easy, and things I picked up pretty easy. And so I thought this was going to be the same. And when I started doing calls and started getting feedback, it turns out I wasn't. And it turns out that I really needed to be open to getting that feedback to become better. So it was a really humbling experience for me looking back on it, because I thought, do you know what? I'm prepared to work hard and I want to get into this. So I'm going to give it a red hot crack, but it really does expose every single area of what you need to work on.
Yeah, and I guess that we talk about the identity as well, and look at someone's identity under pressure, because that's what sales is, right? It's how to perform under pressure and not push back or it's feedback. So I'm assuming it'll also expose someone's common behavioural traits, because again, when no one's watching, no one's reviewing calls, I'm kind of just playing around with it. There's no pressure involved, but add that bit of pressure and you're going to see how people really perform when it counts.
Absolutely, yeah. Different phases of your life as well. There was a call I reviewed of someone in my team as of late, and they're very skilled at what they do. However, this particular prospect challenged them straight away, and what was going on in their life at the time, they didn't want to be challenged straight away, and that was in the first 60 seconds of the call, and the whole call went to shit. After that, I think it was a very short call anyway. So it really depends. It's your weaknesses, but it depends what's happening on the outside for you as well. Like, it'll expose everything.
So it'll expose that, and that's a good point, right? Because we've all got to perform. Doesn't matter what you got going on in your personal life. You still got to show up and go, how do I perform when it counts, right? Because it can't be perfect. Like, okay, I only can do this when my personal life's good and I'm feeling good, all the rest of it. So that's what you're saying. It'll expose that in that person's case, they need to be able to separate whatever's going on in their personal life and still show up and do their role.
Big time. Yeah. Which is probably very similar in business, right? Like, business is not going to wait for you to be having a good day. Business is going to happen whether you like it or not.
Correct. Doesn't matter if it's sport or the rest of it, right? So what were some of your misconceptions about sales early on in the piece?
Well, early on in the piece, or even before I got into sales, was more so, I thought sales was just about sleazy salespeople with hair greased back and wanting to... Well, I think it is. That's why I'm still in it. About saying, disingenuous things to get the deal over the line and not really caring about the person in front of them. As that was my connection to sales as a young lad growing up, and then as I got into it, and some of the people that were in it, you guys are just a couple of examples that really steered my career. When I found out that you guys were actually in sales, you're in business, you're in sales. And I was looking up to you guys when I was kind of first getting into this, and I was like, wow, these are two of the most genuine human beings that I've ever met. Now I know you, I know that's not the case, but I was thinking you guys are...
It's fucking tiring, this actually.
I was thinking you guys are some of the most genuine human beings I've ever met, and you're in business and you're in sales. Maybe my conception is wrong. Maybe I need to give this a crack. And then entering, looking back, it's some of the most high-performing people I've met are in sales or in business because it exposes everything, because it is so challenging, because it allows you to grow in a way that, very similar to business, but a lot of things don't.
common, to hear, like we hear it all the time. Even when we're getting new people on board, they've given themselves a rating system at 0 to 10. Where do you rank your current sales? Well, it's just like a 3 or 4. We go, okay, what made you choose that number? Is it like a training? Is it just like an experience? What is it? And they'll answer it all that, but then it'll be often followed with, I don't want to come across as pushy or salesy. And
yep,
it's just this thing that's just being filtered out there for most people. Haven't really been exposed to proper sales training and what it means, right? Yep. But it's just a common thing, yeah. So now one of these people are going to struggle in business if your underlining belief is that sales is all these things. How do you expect to be good at it, or actually want to be good at it?
Sure.
Yeah, to train yourself.
And then that extends to every action that someone takes, because then they go, all right, I got, say, leads in front of me, but now I don't want to, say, follow up with the leads consistently because I don't want to come across as annoying or any of those sort of things. And if someone's got that subconsciously sitting there, it's going to pretty much block their ability to be better in this, right?
You imagine the sales call, it's about challenging someone, not convincing or pushing someone or manipulating, right?
Sure.
But I've got a thing, I don't want to be a pushy salesperson, so I've linked challenging someone to being pushy.
Yeah.
So someone says, I've got this. Oh, yeah, totally understand. Totally understand. So I heard a thing once going, you rather sell them or you buy their excuses.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
And
you would have seen that quite a bit with the training and
big time. Absolutely. And I think that's a really interesting point. I think if you're on the call, a sales call, with the intention to get this person on board your product or service, and they're not going to be the right fit, you could come across as pushy and you could come across as manipulative and all those things. But what I find works really well for me is if I'm on that call or in that conversation to genuinely help that person and guide and influence and persuade in a way that's going to be beneficial for me and them, it totally changes the whole aspect. Now I'm willing and prepared to challenge them. I'm willing and prepared to ask the tough questions. I fucking love asking tough questions. That's part of the whole sales gig that I love. So it's the, if you go in with the misconception of, I need to get this person to jump on board the product and service, and you don't even know that person's situation, that's game over. That's not a great way to be entering that meeting.
No, terrible. It's terrible. So already for people listening, you can see why most people get it wrong.
Yeah.
Or, and if you're in business, and I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you are, and you're not investing time learning from the right people, though, because there are a lot of bad sales training out there.
Heaps,
yeah.
Heaps.
So but it's vital that you understand the concept of what you just said.
Yep.
That your first objective is to see, can I actually help this person? Are we aligned? And it can't just be some throwaway bullshit thing you've learned out of a book. It's like you actually have to sit there and go, that is my intentions.
Yep.
And otherwise they'll feel it's not genuine. So they've got to feel that is the case.
It'll come across in your tone. It'll come across in your question asking. It'll come across in your energy. It'll come across in everything in your question asking, everything that you do on that call, and people can pick it up. People are getting sold to. I mean, look on Instagram, Facebook, Google, try go on your phone for 30 seconds without getting fucking sold or pitch something, people are getting sold all the time. If you're not coming across as genuinely wanting to help that individual, it's a fucking uphill battle, in my opinion.
Yeah. So true.
And you, for the better part of the last 12 months, you've now worked also in a role where you're got a team.
Correct.
So how many salespeople would you have come across in that time, and setters and closers and all the rest of it, roughly?
Yeah, 15 to 20 on my team. I currently have 10.
And a whole bunch others who are through a platform and education program that you see as well, right?
That's right. Yeah, I've trained hundreds now. So in those 12 months, I've trained hundreds of people to be successful at sales, to learn the skills and develop themselves to be great, not just at sales, just at communicating, just at asking questions, just at building relationships, just at all the skills that come off the back end of actually learning the art of sales.
And you mentioned before about practice. It's like you got to be in there and do the reps, right? And that's for anyone. Like you got to do the reps and you got to keep perfecting it. But are there some attributes that you've seen now that you go, if someone's going, all right, well, I want to morph into a better salesperson. I'm running my PT business or whatever. I understand sales. I understand the concept behind it, and I want to improve. What are some of those attributes that some of these people could actually start to align their identity with?
Yeah, I believe that the students that I've seen and the people that I've coached to be great in business or in sales, they're all fit in the same category. You got to want to learn. You got to want to improve. You got to want to be up for the challenge of personal growth and development. Because if that's not the case, if you just want to jump in and get in business and make a ton of money, or you want to jump into sales and make a ton of money, I'm not sure that's going to align. But if you're someone, and the traits that I've seen of people, they really want to learn the skill and they want to understand everything about it. And if you can get yourself to a level where you genuinely want to learn and want to be better, and you're happy putting in the time and effort, you understand that it might be a marathon, not a sprint. So people that are not in a rush, they're happy to take the journey. They're just a couple. They're just a couple of traits that I've seen work really well in this space.
And then those that are open to receiving the feedback and
Sure.
constructively
Yeah.
and analysing it and going, okay, cool, now I can improve this one bit, right?
Yeah. They're hungry to be better. If you can be hungry to be better, you're open to the feedback, you're open to learning. But if a part of you thinks that you're already at a fucking level that's elite, then you're probably not open to learning.
Well, that was going to be my next question. There's obviously some red flags that you've seen, right? So
I've seen a couple.
Unpack a few of the red flags that you see early on in the piece or somewhere on the journey, you know?
Yeah, the opposite. So not willing to learn. So if you believe, and do you know what? I've had traits, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I've had traits and moments where I'll come off the back of a really great month and I've made a stack of money and I'm closing at like 60%, 70% close rate, and it's been just a great fucking month, right? And I look back and I kind of get a bit of pepper in my step and I go, fuck yeah, have a look at me, hey? Have a look at me. And then I get absolutely slapped around the first part of the next month because I got to a point where I was complacent. I thought the skill set that I had was going to, continue driving me forward. And, I got taught very quickly that's not the case. You're consistent. I think about an athlete. Think about anyone at the top of their game. They practice. Like anyone playing NRL, anyone playing AFL, anyone playing professional golf, anyone playing whatever sport, are they just showing up to the call or showing up to the game day and just playing? Maybe. I fucking don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're going to be prepping their mind, prepping their body, practicing stretching, mindset work. There's a lot that goes into game day. And if you look at a call or running a business or those pivotal moments like game day, you need to show up prepped and you need to show up ready in every sense.
So it leads me into my next question, which is what you just said before. Have a stellar month. You're like, look at me.
Yeah.
Well, that look at me is there's also an emotional response to that, right? And whatever that may be. But have you tied like your self-worth to a performance-based outcome or numbers? So because it's important for people to understand that when you're in sales, there can be a lot of rejection, a lot of wins, and a lot of in between. So have you ever personally tied your own self-worth to performance or a certain number or outcome?
I did. I have. Yeah. It's happened just recently as well. And it was subconsciously, did I know it was happening? Not at all. But I went through a period of a few tough months, and it's not just me now. It's a team of people. So there's more pressure, more responsibility from me. So I had a couple of bad months of numbers, and I was trying everything I could, and I was practicing, and I was on paper doing all the right things, but it wasn't working. So what started happening for me is I started thinking, am I actually fucking up for this? Was I just lucky for those months or years prior? Maybe I'm shit. Am I shit at this? Like maybe it's time to give up. And self-worth started going down. Confidence levels started going down. It started impacting other areas. And it was until I realized what was happening and I had to separate that is not me. Those numbers, they're not me. They're not who I am. It's something that happened, but it's not my identity. My identity's not shit numbers. It's just part of the game. So once I separated the two, I could build myself back up to my self-worth back up to who I know I can be. And funnily enough, this is starting to match up as well. The numbers are starting to come back up.
I think it's important for anyone listening to this. And again, we're talking sales, but it can be in business, have an average month. And like you said, what can happen is that if my level of identity or self-worth is linked to a number or outcome, and it starts going the other way, that can be tough for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned a very important thing. So I guess if you're not doing the work, if you're not putting the training in, you're not always staying on top of things. Like you said, the footy analogy, like if you start to take off your foot off the gas and know what's working, then you probably have every right to have your self-worth and, you know, your confidence go down. But when you are doing everything that's right, but things out of your control, you still haven't, you typically just have one of those months.
Sure.
You can't explain it.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to your team or people listening to this? Like, so how do you separate that, or how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I mean, the message to the team lately has been, because I know they've been feeling something very similar, but it's in those moments that the fucking learnings are.
Yep.
They're the times that you can learn and grow and develop and be better, because anyone can be happy and all good when things are good, right? Numbers are good and everything's working. I truly believe that that's great, and I'll welcome that when it happens, and it's starting to happen now for us. But there's a lower level of learning in those moments. It's really when you're put up against the wall and you've got to get the best out of yourself, like you were saying before, big fella. Like when you're under pressure, that's when you truly learn about yourself. And I look at myself and I look at my team over the last few months, and yeah, it's been challenging. But I tell you what, we fucking learned the most out of this period in 2-3 months than we have in my 9 months prior as a sales manager and as a closer. So it's through those times, as not enjoyable as they are, they're where the fucking learnings are. And if you're someone that is strong enough and resilient enough to get through those times, on the back end of that, that's where the fucking fun is. That's where the next level is.
Yeah, it's great. I heard you use the word fun. I also heard you use the analogy of the game, right? So when you are treating it like this is a game, right, it's like completely changes your perception of it, right? Because it's like, I'm in this and I'm going to view this as an adventure and everything that comes with it, right? And in a game, there's going to be times when you get pumped. There's going to be times when you get up. And so, yeah, it's cool to watch. And the other part is sales is really, in terms of professions, it's the only profession in the world where your earning potential is uncapped, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, unless you're in business, well, show me other professions where you can have those massive highs, right? And then what does that lend itself to? Well, it can have not so great months, right?
Yeah. Well, it's all performance based, pretty much how you are performing right now. You have a great month, but next month you don't. The feedback you get from a boss or someone higher power or yourself it can dramatically change. And we've been in business long enough to know we've had 2 great months, same thing, and then this month we've had some stuff that you go, fucking that's weird. But we've been around long enough, and what I believe happens is when you build that resilience, you put the work in, and you trust that things going to turn around. But again, if it's luck and you haven't been putting the work in, you have no right to feel like you're going to succeed. So I think the message is very important here, that building resilience. And like you said, anyone can go great when it's all in your favor. What you really see someone is like, what's their baseline identity and performance level like when the shit hits the fan? Do they drop back, or do they see it as an opportunity, like you said, to go further and reach your full potential? Because if I can get through this and still smile, laugh, and go, that's what it is. I'm doing putting the work in, doing all that. Then I'll know when it turns around. I can. I guess what I'm saying is it shouldn't dictate your level of self-worth and happiness and all that stuff. It's like at the moment it's not the number we want to be looking at.
But I'm doing the practice, I'm doing the work.
Can I separate it? Yeah. And what I learned about this, I like that part you said.
And big fella, you alluded to this as well. I mean, us now in business for 18 years, we've seen in that time we've had highs, we've had lows, we've had challenging months. But what I notice is the highs, although we celebrate the wins, of course, they become less of such a big achievement. It's like, here's our expectation.
But that's right. I expect that to happen.
I
expect it because we've earned it. I just expect that to take place. Yeah.
And the challenging times are met with the that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck it. 18 years. You're still challenging. You're saying, okay.
Well, and I hope people get what you just said. It's important when you say something like, "That's interesting." You're actually taking on the role of a observer.
Yep.
But when you start going, fuck it, shit, that's not good, we're going to struggle, man, you are now hijacked by your emotions and you're hijacked by that situation and you are fucked. you are fucked. When I say fucked, you will go offline. You will stop doing the things that you need to do. You'll go, oh man, I've had such a bad week.
Reactive.
I'm struggling to get out of bed. It's impacted me. But we laugh or do something because it keeps us separated from that hijacking. So I hope people get that. That's interesting. We typically laugh.
We do.
Because, we go, well, stressing about it and carrying on about it, that's not going to change the situation. It's like, all right, well, what are we going to do about it? How are we showing up today? So I hope people get that because it's emotional intelligence 101.
Yeah. And also, I guess, back to the analogy of the long term, the long game in business. And like you said, the marathon, not a sprint. And if you picture the stock market graph and you watch our trajectory over the years and we've grown, had dips, up. Ultimately, you don't just start point A and end up right at the top here. It's like there's challenges along the way, and it's same thing in the game of sales, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you now moving into like just closing, right? So many parts of sales, but what do you believe that elite closers understand about people in general versus say average salespeople? What do you think they get that the average salesperson probably doesn't?
Yeah, I think I believe they understand people. They understand why people make changes, why people make decisions, not just, I need to say this word track. This is a fancy word track that I've seen on Instagram and I'm going to use that. But why?
Yeah, I've seen somebody just say something to an objection and I'm just going to spit that out.
That's exactly right. It's becoming a bigger thing now and we're seeing it on fucking social media and I'm just shaking my head when I see it because they're fancy word tracks and they can look sexy and they can sound sexy and that's all well and good. However,
or until the person hits them back with another one.
That's right.
I'll just scroll Instagram because I actually don't know what the answers to that one is.
Let me just chat GPT this for a second, Mr. Prospect. Yeah. An elite closer understands not just what they're saying, but why they're saying it. And they understand that people make a decision from moving away from pain or issues or problem, moving away from something that they don't like, or moving towards something, or both. So if you can understand what actually influences and persuades people to move and make a decision and commitment to themselves, not a fancy word track, not I've saw this on, Instagram and it sounds fancy. So elite, just to summarize, elite closers, they understand the deeper meaning of why. What am I actually looking for here in my framework? What am I searching for? Yeah, cool. I've got some great word tracks. What am I searching for in this first part of the call?
What am I listening out for? And how are they? How's their tone? Or I gotcha.
So an elite person is looking for all those cues. What they say is one thing: body language, tonality, energy on the call, shifts and changes. If they're really upbeat, talking about something but not about something else, I'm going to call that out. I'm gonna be very compassionate and call it, hey, I'm curious. So I heard you were super excited when you were speaking about XYZ. I've actually just felt a shift in your energy now that you're speaking about this. Can you help me understand? As opposed to there's this fucking beautiful word track. I can't wait to use it. That's right.
Let's talk about that. Why is that important to do? So you've compassionately called that person out. What does the prospect experience at that point?
Yeah. I believe a good salesperson asks questions to challenge the prospect and allow them to understand things they probably didn't prior.
So I might have said that at a defense mechanism. You've compassionately, but you brought it to my attention. Oh, okay. Does it build trust? Does it build that you've understood, that you care enough to actually bring that up? Is that what you think happens?
I think all the above. I think what it does, if it's done correctly, if it's done compassionately and with the right tonality yourself, then they actually believe that you're on.
Not like, hey, cunt, you just said that earlier and now you're saying something different.
Oh, that's actually my word track. But when you do that correctly, then the prospect will feel like this person actually genuinely wants to help me.
Yeah.
And there's a relationship and a trust built in that moment, because that typically doesn't happen even with conversations with their partner that they might have been married to or been with for years, conversations with kids, conversations with work colleagues, because everyone's so fucking busy in their own lives these days, where an elite closer or elite salesperson is really going to chime into everything that happens in that conversation, call it out compassionately, and then just give space for the prospect to explain what's actually happening. And that's the magic. if you can get someone explaining what's happening for them in that moment, they often don't even know it themselves. And that's what influences and persuades people at that moment. That's where the sales won right there.
And they're doing it. They're influencing themselves by having an opportunity to speak it out.
Yeah. Well, that's what sales is to me. It's asking the right questions to get the information from the prospect. That's what sales is. It's guiding them in a direction.
So people realize when they listen to this, like, your job is not to convince somebody.
No, no. That's where the pushy, that's where the salesy comes into it. Yeah.
And this is where the reps come into it, right? Because for someone to be in that spot, you're the salesperson, and this can be for anyone tuning into this. You want to be listening and intently listening and taking in the words instead of thinking about what might be my next question, right? So, and I can only do that when I'm relaxed enough and I'm not here thinking about, what's that next question I've got to ask and where have I got to take this? It's like I can sit there and listen to it. And you also mentioned about having those silences, which could for some people be uncomfortable. And if you're sitting there and there's a moment where there's just silence and your natural default is to go, fuck, I don't like the feeling of this silence, I'm just going to say something.
Yeah.
It's just so powerful. But again, it just comes back to, I guess what I'm hearing is the training and the repetition of this, because, there's the skills in the repetition, and the more you can do that, the better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're new to it and you're still working on a script or framework, that's the beginning, and you have to go through that, but it's later on that the fun of the game really comes in, and it's later on where you know what you're looking for and why you're looking for it, and then you can get creative with what you say in those moments to bring out whatever information that they share.
And I like how you changed your smile when you said that's where the game and the fun occurs when you get to that level, but that's what it needs to be. It needs to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And like anything, if you don't do the reps or put the time and understand this at a deeper level, which is back to the question, which you answered, the difference between elite and average, then if you aren't turning up going, I really enjoy this. I have an opportunity to maybe help someone get unstuck, answer their own concerns, objections, so they can actually get the results they want. How can that not feel good?
Yeah, something my dad said when I was a young lad growing up. If you can find something that you enjoy, you'll never work a day in your life. And everything that I've done through tradie, through PT, through business coaching, through sales, through setting, through closing, through sales management, if I don't enjoy it, I don't excel at it. But if I can find a level of enjoyment in that, everything I do is going to change. My tone is going to come through in a different way. If I'm enjoying what I'm doing and the person next to me fucking hates it, you're pretty easily going to know the difference between body language, between tone. You're gonna see it. People can see that stuff and they can feel it. Yeah. So it's so important. You need to be passionate. You need to love what you fucking do.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm hearing also is that passion then grows. The more you do it, and again, the more I practice it, the more I'm going to get better, right? Because for some people, it's going to feel fucking clunky at the start and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
it should.
It's such a cool space to be in, because really, it totally goes against the stereotypical salesperson that we spoke of at the start.
Yeah.
And completely the other way. It's someone who cares, understands, it's like seek first to understand and then decide, okay, is this the right path ethically for this person? And knowing that this could be a major breakthrough for the person who's on the other end as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. All the above. Absolutely.
So we might have covered this in a roundabout way, but what beliefs do you think destroy more salespeople that they may carry with them?
Yeah, I think the belief in well, maybe not having the belief that they're actually there to help and they actually care about the person. And if they're going in with a belief of, I need to hit a certain number for the month, or I need to earn a certain amount by the end of this week or the end of the month, we call that commission breath, and commission breath is it's gonna come across at every single word that you speak, and it fucking stinks. And the prospect can smell that shit through Zoom. They don't need to be face to face to smell that. So, when I see salespeople fall down, it's being disingenuous, and typically what it comes from is just, I need to make money, and I've seen plenty of them in the space, and they're far between. And I love, I don't love that people have to go through that, but I love when people experience that and then talk to either myself or my team, because every single person on my team and everyone that I've looked up to in sales, they actually fucking care. They actually want to help that person.
Yeah.
And they want to challenge them and they want the best for that person. And typically it's their product or service that's going to improve that person's situation, whatever that is.
Yeah, I guess what I'm hearing there is having that healthy blend of the two. It's like,
I've got targets,
I've got targets and I've got income goals and so forth, but I'm fucking so passionate about this,
Sure.
my product, what I'm selling, and the fact that it's going to make a big difference in this person's life. And when that comes into fruition and comes into balance, then that's where you got the harmony, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And numbers is a big part of sales. Like you're right, Sheppy, it is absolutely. So a blend of both is the magic.
That's right. One without the other. If it's goes, I'm just sitting here to fucking crush these deals. I don't give a fuck what I'm selling or who it's to.
Yeah.
Someone's getting sold something.
Who are you? What do you want to buy? Yeah, we got that at a cheaper rate as well. Yeah.
And then is that where you? I'd say for myself, and I know you'd be the same. Every consult that we go into with somebody, I'm not sitting there going, "Fucking all right, need this sale," or got to get them signed up and full up front or whatever. If you're listening, we do like up fronts. A lot of people pay that up front. But it's more like we're so entrenched in after all these years who they are. How can we help?
Yeah.
Is this going to be the right thing? Mostly these days, is this person going to be a pain in the ass?
Yeah, that's right.
Honestly, that's what it is now. We don't need to work with anybody, and that's how we view it. My main thing is I'm assessing, I've got to put you with one of our coaches. I don't think I'd work with you. I better be honest about that with you up front, and I'll actually have conversations where I'm actually talking about, I've got some concerns that I want to raise with you right now because I care, just to make sure this is going to be a good working relationship, So... it might be you didn't do your BA, you didn't do the homework before. I'm bringing all this stuff up because I go like, is that going to be your pattern moving into the coaching? You're not going to do the session work. You're not going to do the follow up. And it obviously builds more trust. But I'm actually doing it now because I go, I can get the sale, but am I going to be hearing from our head office that you're a pain in the ass 2 months ago?
Yeah, absolutely. And just that in itself, that process, it's so far from the unskilled salesperson that wouldn't give a shit if they did their homework or not prior.
Yeah.
They're just on there for the sale. So you even asking those questions.
Not my problem.
Yeah. You even asking those questions for them as a prospect, they're thinking, fucking hang on a minute. I'm actually now having to work for this.
Yeah.
Which is totally different to sitting there and feeling totally fucking like someone's ramming a service or offer down your throat. Very different.
This is a little bit off topic of just sales itself, but that's why we started to create our information podcast before somebody even does a session with us.
Absolutely.
So clearly lays out, hey, before you do the session with Jason or Brad or whoever, one of our team, you need to listen or watch this podcast where they're going to go through exactly how they work, what you can expect, the type of clients they want to work with,
investment options,
the whole bit. And if any of that raises any concerns for you, then, obviously bring it up at the start, but also maybe it's going to determine, do you want to go through with this next part or not? I know you've had experience with that prior to getting people to do homework and all the rest of it. How important is it? And I'm assuming there's a particular way you need to do that information before going into the appointment. So what's your experience on that? And for people listening, why is it so important that people just don't rock up cold and, hey, Brad, thanks for coming here today. You know anything about us? No idea. Got no idea about you. All right, so you want me to do all the hard work. So
that's right.
Where's the advantage of it and why is it so important?
The advantage is that people that are only qualified and actually a good fit for your business are going to be on the call, first and foremost. It's going to save your time massively.
Yeah.
And then second of all, I've been on those calls where I'm just fucking doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to educate this person. I'm not even trying to influence or help this person right now. I'm trying to help them understand. But that's so far away from making a decision to actually helping that person. And if I'm doing that, like you said, big fella, if I'm doing that for them when they could have done it prior to the call, it's a relationship that hasn't started on a productive foot.
Do you find, like I find that I can tell when people haven't done the work because they go, right, how can you help me?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not like that, but that's what you feel. They're going, all right, you convince me, mate, of how you can help me. When you go, you don't know much about us, do you?
We have a question.
I think I saw you guys on Instagram.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of your reels and stuff like that. So
we have a question that we ask as soon as we jump on calls. This is for setters and closers, but like, hey, how have you gone with the resources so far?
Yeah.
And if you see someone blankly say, yeah, they were good.
What'd you like
And you
about
go,
it?
yeah, what part specifically did you
Stood
like
out.
about it? You tell me. Yeah. Oh, that part, I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Oh, if you think really hard, what part did you like about it? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not fucking moving forward until you tell me that you watched the shit. Yeah. But yeah, big fella, it changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. If someone doesn't rock up prepared, the salesperson then has to do all the heavy lifting. And if the salesperson's doing all the heavy lifting, it's tiring, number one, for a salesperson. But they're not actually able to get into that space where they're going to educate that person enough and help them make a decision that's going to allow them to move forward. So it's the prospect really doing themselves a disservice. They're totally changing the shape of that call to how can this help me actually achieve the goals that they wanted to achieve, and it turns into a help me understand what this is. That's what you should have done prior.
It blows. I mean, and like you don't need a personality test and all that stuff to figure out someone's traits, but I still get blown away that so you've taken anywhere from 30 minutes, 45 minutes to meet with me, but yet you've done no research on the person you're speaking to whatsoever. I've read your BA. I've done the research on your Instagram. If you've got a website, I've looked at that. But you haven't done any on us? Like, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
No. So you've had
Yeah.
we both had moments where we've actually turned people away going, well, look, there's no point in us proceeding today because what's going to happen is I'm not here to convince you.
Yeah.
This is the thing for you to do. You need to go and do this work first.
Yeah, and if you're serious about it, you got to do this, listen to this podcast, watch this video. That's your homework. You got this, and then we'll reconnect. And if you've done it, and if you're keen, and
You're not prepared to do it?
yeah. But what I said, I guess the observation is the modern buyer, no matter what you're buying, you're out there, new washing machine, car, whatever it is, right? Like, you're going to do some research.
Oh, Google reviews, you
Chat
name it.
GPT.
Yeah.
It's so easily accessible these days.
Like, it just would baffle me that someone's going to take a step in the right direction and make a commitment and not do that, right? But
I've had at least 3 people that have told me, but probably more. I've had 3 people tell me, I chat GPT'd you guys and it gave you guys a great review. You've been around 20 years. So you've got all this information at your disposal that you didn't have even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's why we do it, right? So, it's a very important part. So you've got to be skilled.
Yep.
You got to have all those attributes you're talking about, but also understand that the sales starts way before you've ever met with somebody.
Way before pre-nurture. Absolutely.
And on that topic too, the recent ones we're speaking of, Brad D, and we've been filming them over the last couple of months, and we've had someone just last week physically opt out because they went, actually, those resources are amazing, watch them all. I'm just not ready.
Yeah.
I'm taking ownership of the fact that you guys are serious. I can see what you do, and I'm in no way, shape, or form ready for this. And we're like, fucking thank you. It did its job.
Yeah, because it just saved everyone a bunch of time.
Yeah. And then for the prospect to know that when the time is right for them, they know exactly where to come as well.
Yeah.
Typically, it's a really important part, I feel.
What's something that an average salesperson would obsess about that a high performer, elite closer wouldn't at all? So they just don't think about it anymore. So something at the start, I'm still probably not that great at sales, or I've chosen not to be, I haven't done the work. What would they obsess about, you think, versus say like somebody who's more elite? And maybe they did at the start, but they don't obsess about that stuff anymore.
Yeah, it's a great question. 2 things come to mind. The first is scripts and words. When you're first starting out, and look, I think this is just a part of starting out, but I see a lot of students that I coach as well be so focused on the words, where an elite person is so far past that they're focusing, they're not even thinking about the words, they're figuring out, what do I need in this particular section of the call or the meeting? What am I looking for? What do I need to identify? What questions do I need to ask? But they're not thinking about the words to say. But like I said, it's an important part that you got to go through. You got to learn the script. Once you learn the script, you know the framework. Once you can learn the framework, you understand why you're asking those particular things in the framework. So answer 1 would be, well, a beginner would be focusing on the words, whereas later on that's less important. The framework becomes more important, and the why you're asking.
But the framework's more automatic because
Correct.
You know mentally what I haven't, and you also know I haven't really got deep enough on that section yet, so I'm not going to move to the next phase.
Yeah.
Rather than going, okay, that's question 5 ticked off on.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely. And Alex Hormozy, actually, with his sales team, he doesn't allow them to jump on calls unless they've read his script 80 times, 80 times. And then at time 40, he believes they're just starting to get it. They're just starting to get the script and the words. So it is a part of learning. And then he starts putting his finger over some words and sentences, and they've got to remember. So if they want to jump on calls on his offer, they need to have him put his finger over the words after they've read it 40 times, and then remember everything about that. Because once you know the words, then you can understand the framework, and then you can move on to the next section. So important at the start, and probably obsessed at the start, but it becomes less important later once you've learned.
And then you hear that and you wonder why probably people go, I went over the script a couple of times, or I've practiced it 10 or 5 times. How many more times are I going to learn this stuff for? But they don't truly ingrain it, right? Because they haven't done the reps again.
Yep.
Where you hear that 40 times just to then put his fingers over
certain words
and then
and
another 40
sentences,
times before he'll let them on one of his offers, or
even one of his calls. Correct. Yeah,
which is good because you'd be very motivated to go, fuck, I'll get these 80 in. That's right. As quick as I can, so I can actually start making some money.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be the first one. The second one would be a mix of kind of what the prospect says and does versus and rejection. Like rejection is just a part of sales. Like if somebody tells me to fuck off on the phone, I don't get it too much anymore. Unfortunately, the setters still get a little bit.
Do you go, where do you want me to go?
Where exactly would you like me to go?
Fuck off where?
So that really impacted me at the start. I was kind of like, fuck, all right then. And got really like
because I'm a black belt, I don't get it. I've never had it, not to my face.
But after time, it became less. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. I'll fuck off. Next person. If they don't want to help, I don't want to help them. Yeah. And then comes what, like if a prospect is getting really defensive on a call, I used to, and I've seen beginners get really kind of allow that to impact them and affect their performance and what they say. Somebody that is elite will continue going through their framework nonetheless.
Hold their.
They will not they will not allow the prospect, whatever they say, to change. They can change within their framework, the elite people, because they know where to go. But someone that tries to catch him off the game or challenge the salesperson, a beginner would be really put off, similar to rejection. However, as an elite salesperson knows that there's something going on behind that. So I need to now ask questions to understand why is that prospect reacting that way. There's something underlying there. So to stay calm enough and not get impacted, but to stay calm enough to understand what is actually happening there, that's an opportunity.
And you might even, like back to what you were saying before, might go, you might actually bring it up to the surface that maybe their energy has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, like I get a sense of that's triggered some emotion in you. Is that back to what you were saying before, where you might actually
big time.
Rather than just say, let's pretend that you're not getting angry.
I'm just going to move on to the next bit. Anyway,
next question.
It's an opportunity missed. However, at the start, I get it, but more advanced and more reps you do, you see that as an opportunity, not something to be scared of.
I love it. That's so good.
Yeah.
You've now seen a lot of different offers and deals and so forth, and there's several different ways to sell and to take somebody through a process like ours. I'd say ours is reasonably lengthy. It starts with a discovery call. There's a blueprint part 1, and for the successful candidates, they'll move to a blueprint part 2. So there's 3 appointments in that, and of course they've got to do their homework and all the other research and so forth that goes on. There's others which could be just like discovery call into a one closed deal. Of all the fitness trainers we know of, and now that you've got all this knowledge and so forth, do you think there's an ideal framework for these people, a time that someone could wrap their head around if they're going to lean a bit more into this?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. The clients that I work with, we all use a very similar format. And when the lead comes in, if they're a brand new lead coming in the business, doesn't matter where they come from, they a referral lead, it's an Instagram lead, it's a DM reach out, it's they saw you in the gym and want to get more knowledge or information from you, all good. No matter where the lead comes from, speed to lead is important, I believe. So
critical.
They're reaching out for a reason. There's something happening in their world that has allowed them to reach out. So there's a level of interest there. So it has to happen hot off the press, in my opinion. So as fast as this can happen without, stupidly being kind of pushy or being like an ex-girlfriend and leaving kind of 20 messages, unread messages on their phone. That's not the way to do it. However, if you can book in an appointment, if you can book in a consult as soon as possible, but then pre-nurture between there. For example, someone, let's say someone messaged me on Instagram and I am an online trainer or I'm face-to-face, I'll book a consult. I have a short discussion and figure out what they're looking for and how they found out about us and exactly what they're looking to achieve. So there's some level of kind of relationship built. But I want to meet them. I want to talk to them. I want to learn about them. And so I'll book in an appointment. But prior to the appointment, it's sending them information. It's sending them before and afters. It's sending them wins, testimonials that are related to the information that they gave. So if Susie's looking to lose 20 kilos and she's feeling really shit about herself and it's impacting like several aspects of her life, I'm going to send her wins and success stories about clients that I've helped around that. And then I'm going to allow Susie to understand what I do in business. And then by the time Susie jumps in the consult, we're ready to go. And there's some pretty streamlined sales systems that you don't even need to do consults anymore. Like you can just have a pathway where they get educated on you. They build trust. If they know you, like you, and trust you through your sales process, they could even buy themselves. But it's the same thing. If you're not booking in a consult, you're booking in an opportunity for them to opt in and buy into your business. But prior to that is the education phase. You need to be educating them. So yeah, there's a flow chart that I use with a lot of my clients, and it's working fucking sweet.
Yeah, that pre-education, that pre-sales education part is just absolutely critical. And yeah, the more of it, the better, again, because you're going to be speaking to these people who are more astute now, and they've got that ability to do more research and so forth, and you got to present them with it, because otherwise they don't get it from you, they're going to get it from somewhere, right?
Correct.
Yep, correct.
What do you think the key differences, or what is the difference between influence and manipulation? Because a lot of people I know that a lot of people, when they talk about sales, they get into this stuff and they kind of blur it, I think, between, okay, am I influencing or am I allowing, or am I manipulating? So what do you think that the key differences is there?
Well, for me, I hear those two words, and one's got a positive connotation and one's probably got a negative connotation. So influence for me is similar to like inspire. So that's got more of the positive connotation, where manipulation probably has more of a negative connotation for me. So, influencing is asking questions, understanding, and potentially helping that person. Influence and persuading is positive because I can guide somebody with a framework and questions to help them make a decision themselves.
Yep.
So I'm asking questions for them to give me the information. They're making all the decisions themselves, just with some tight questioning. Manipulating, there's probably not going to be a lot of question asking, maybe a little bit, but there's going to be a lot of selling and saying things that are not in the best interest of both parties, of the salesperson and the prospect. I feel like manipulation is going to come from a deeper layer of, I need to get this fucking sale, or you're not a fit for my business, but I want money, or I just feel there's a negative, negative connotation to it.
Yeah, I believe in sales, especially if I'm trying to manipulate you into doing something you might not even be in your best interest. Then that's like you go, I know I purposely manipulate this person because maybe their self-esteem's not high. I can tell this person at the moment, because it's easy to manipulate someone who's not in a good state of mind, or they don't have a strong self-worth. So I'm going to manipulate you into buying this, because if you don't buy it, it means you're not good enough.
Yep.
And I read that about you, and I'm going to use that in a negative way.
Yep.
Manipulation in general, I don't think it's always bad. There's certain areas of life where to manipulate someone to do something that could be really positive is good. But in what we're talking about, in that context, if I go, oh, I've got a sucker here, or this person's, I can tell they're not a strong character at the moment, I'm going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Then, so what you're saying is, there's completely two different, or me understanding going, I know this person is probably not right, or it's not the right thing for them,
but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah. That's not cool.
Nah.
And back to the influence or inspire analogy, I guess as we've said for years, part of this goal first of all from a marketing perspective, but also as it morphs into sales, you want to snap people out of their trance. Yeah. And for a lot of people, they're traveling through life, day to day, week to week, doing the same shit, expecting a different result, all the rest of it. And like you said, you're going to be in these situations where you are going to challenge people And for some people, effectively snapping them out of that trance,
Yes.
allowing them to have the light bulb moment, allowing them to see it from a completely different perspective and actually then take ownership of their current situation, but more importantly, where they could go and where they could take this thing, right? And again, that's, to me, that's when I hear that influence and so forth. That's what that part's about.
Agree.
Yep, big time.
This may sound like different in terms of what we've been talking about, but how does high pressure sales, how can that impact someone's emotional well-being? Because we talked about, I guess a lot of the stuff that can be great, but also if you're in high performing sales all the time, is there a cost involved emotionally and mentally if you're not careful?
Yeah, there is cost. It's an interesting question. When I hear the word cost, it's me giving something or me losing something. However, when I heard that question, I thought, well, I look at it as an investment more than anything, because high pressure sales has got the best out of me over the last 4 years since I've been doing it. So I've invested in myself to actually learn and grow and develop, and now it's entered all aspects of my life. So yeah, there's a cost, but I also think there's a surplus to it as well. There's a benefit and an investment. However, to circle back to your question, the cost, yeah, sure. There's, I look at, and I'm in this category as well, and people get too obsessed with what they're doing because they want to be the best, and they're fucking high performers, and this is how they operate. And, me, myself, I want to look back when I'm 40, 45, 50 years of age and look back and go, fucking yeah, I just gave that a red hot crack, and I got the most out of that. However, what happens for me sometimes is I go too far that way. And, emotionally I can get burnt out. I can not, do things that really inspire and influence me, and do things that really kind of recharge my batteries.
Yes.
And, the reason what life is enjoyable about hanging out with my fiance and my puppy and going camping and all that stuff, like that can go on the back burner, and then I can just be so focused on getting better and supporting my team as best I can that, 2 months has gone past and I've been sitting fucking behind a computer for a long amount of time. So yeah, there can be a cost. If you're not careful, there can be a cost. And typically I've certainly balanced that myself, still in the process. And I've seen high performers and high pressure do that as well.
Because that's where I was angling with it. So plenty of good, but also if you're not careful,
Yeah.
high performers, they typically, their greatest strength is their greatest weakness
Yep.
as well. So if you're operating at a high level all the time, non-stop, and you're just, I guess, obsessive about it, which to get great at anything, there is a level of obsession. But I think you answered it really well in terms of things to be mindful of.
Yep.
Because you don't want to allow yourself to get to being burnt out, or now you're emotionally unavailable, or you're exhausted all the time, and the other areas of your life miss out. So key things that you would do, because I know you do have things in place that are aimed to keep you in balance or in check at least. I don't know if balance is a thing anymore, but something that helps you reset.
Yeah, there's a lot, and it came back to when you were coaching me, big fella, and Jace taught me the me first principle. And me first is about an example here is like when an airplane's going down, touch wood, that doesn't happen to anyone, but when an airplane's going down, you need to fit your oxygen mask first, so that you can help other people around you. Because if you don't fit your mask first, you're not going to be much good to many people for very long. So oxygen mask first, me first principle for me. What that means is in the morning, I'm up early. I'm walking, I coffee, walk, train. I've got an ice bath. Jump in the ice bath, crispy 6 degrees, Sheppy.
Beautiful.
You love the ice baths. And for me, that's more so about doing what I need to do, prep for the day. I go through breath work. I've got a kind of a gratitude journal or an intention setting book that I fill out as well. And I always have a focus. This is all in the morning before I start. Once I start, I need to be fully charged so that my team can get the best of me, so that business owners see it, like anyone who I'm working with or for, they're going to get the absolute fucking best out of me, but it's my responsibility to show up that way. So yeah, the me first principle has totally changed my life. And this is 7-8 years ago where I started incorporating that. So that's an every morning thing. That's a non-negotiable for me every single morning. Yeah.
I think it's important because we're talking, a lot of people tuning in, they're PTs that have learned, that have had to be good at sales, had to be good at marketing or lead gen, plus do what they actually love to do for a living. It's some kind of training, or it's helping people. So there probably is a difference between just people who are high ticket sales and that's all they're doing all day versus you've also got a personal trainer or somebody in business that they're spread across multiple things, right? Like even us, we'll go from being a founder of the business to doing strategic things to then still doing some amount of sales.
Yep, working on marketing
And
strategy.
so you got to be also ability to be able to adapt and mix. But the me first principle is important. So I'm sure you got things that you can go, well, I'm probably a 6 out of 10 at the moment of swinging that way. If I get to an 8, there's consequences to it. Do you measure yourself that way now, going, oh, here are the warning signs?
Yeah, I do. And over the years, I'm getting pretty good, much better at identifying the warning signs. But if I wake up, like I'm a pretty energetic person, like me, myself, I'm very energetic. I'm very positive. I like to see the best in people and I like to get the most out of life. And I like people, I want to leave people like at the end when it's all said and done and I'm not on this earth anymore, I want to leave people with that impression that, fuck, Brad, he's a fucking positive motherfucker, number one. He's great to be around, but he got the best out of me. He got the best out of me, whether it's personal, whether it's business. And for me to achieve that, I need to be doing that every day. I need to be making sure that I'm showing up and doing what I need to do every single day. So there's there needs to be a bigger, in my opinion, there needs to be a bigger reason why I do that. Because if it's back to the, what do you say, not why you're saying it, why you're asking it. It's I can tell myself I'm going to go to the gym in the morning, or I can tell myself I'm going to do something, but there's no real meaning behind it. The likelihood of you being consistent at that, I feel, drops away for me anyway.
What has sales taught you? I was going to say that in the context of human nature, but human nature in the sense of humans and people in general. So what has sales taught you about people, interactions?
Well, so much. The thing that I've learned most about sales, I got into this to learn a skill, and I got into this to improve my communication and improve my listening skills and improve my relationship building skills. And through the process, I've now learned that to a really good level, and I'm going to continue learning that. But what I've actually learned is that the person that I can become through the process, it's up to me what that looks like. It's up to me every day if I show up and do what's required, every day if I continue practicing and continue learning and everything that we've spoken about, it can impact my life more so than anyone sitting in front of me. So in terms of, that's just one thing. There's also the reason why people make change.
Yeah.
The reason why in my opinion, the reason why someone's going to make change is they're moving away from something or they're moving towards something. And if I can learn what that is, I can help them. If I ask the right questions and really understand what they're experiencing, what they're going through and what they want to experience and how that's going to impact them, I can really help that person. So sales has taught me if I can be elite at communicating and asking questions and listening, I think the possibilities are endless in terms of my learnings and growth, and also anyone that sits in front of me or speaks to me.
It's pretty cool. And that concept about people moving away or towards, there is a part of the brain, and it's well and truly studied. Most people will move away from what they don't want before they move towards what they do want. Meaning that if it sounds weird, but if someone was overweight and they wanted to get in shape, there's that concept of put your head on the body that you want. It won't be as powerful as if you actually then
blow yourself up 30
blow
kilos.
yourself up and be bigger, or I'm broke, I'm on the streets, all the rest of it, because you want to move away more from that. There might be a small percentage of people that can just, no, this is what I want, I can visualize it. But typically those people are moving away still from, I grew up broke, I grew up poor, so I don't want that. So they might look like they've set these goals and targets, but they're actually more moving away from, I don't want to experience that anymore. I found that fascinating, that if you understand that most people want to be successful, but not everyone is also not up for the journey and what it takes. I've noticed that about sales. That's taught me that a lot of people say they may want this stuff, but a lot of people aren't really
prepared to do what it takes.
And that's also okay. Because if you can help that person realize that maybe business is not for you, or you know, this is not for you, then you can stop agonizing and then go and get in a job and just tour up and do your time. So anything else that you've noticed doing it? Because that's one part of it.
Yeah, and if I even go deeper on that part, because that's probably the biggest thing, and it's allowed me to learn what happens to people's lives through their journey, right the way from a childhood all the way through to being a 50, 60-year-old individual with a full career behind them, and now they're in retirement. The things that happen to them as kids, or things that happen to them through their personal life or career, they still make decisions that way, maybe because they haven't done the practice, they haven't done the learning, they haven't challenged themselves, they haven't had someone to give them feedback and guide them. But I've had people that are 55, 60 years of age and they need to make a change. They fucking need to make a change because they, number one, they won't achieve what they're wanting to achieve. But number two, and this is in health and fitness as well, someone probably needs to impact their health in a positive way. They probably need to get away from the weight gain because they're going to have some serious kind of contradictions. But fucking human beings, they're so good at getting in their way, getting in their own way as well. So what sales has taught me is how powerful it is to not be assessed and not have someone give you feedback and critique on maybe the way you make decisions and maybe the way you behave and take action. And what is learned at a young age, it can continue right the way through. So I have conversations, like I said, with these 50s, 55, 60 years of old age people that are just so in their fucking way, and they've been doing it. When I ask questions, they've been doing this for 40, 50 years, and they will not achieve what they're looking to achieve if they continue on that pathway, but they're not fucking prepared to get out of their way no matter what.
I had a guy the other day, and he used the old, I just don't make decisions on the spot. I just assess everything I make the spot, and I just said, oh, interesting. Where does that come from?
Yep.
So how long has that been going for? And he probably gave me a surface level answer, and I asked a few more questions to get the point. You know, he let someone talk enough, and they run out of the surface level bullshit. And then it was like, well, I've made some really bad decisions when I was younger, poor decisions. And I said, when you say younger, what are you, 10, 15? He would have been in his 40s. He go, oh, probably my 20s. And I go, you that same guy now? Never even considered it. He goes, no. So if you're not that same young guy that made that poor decisions, what did you learn about yourself in that moment that's different now? And he explained it. Tell me, I said, do you think then, but you're a different guy, you've learned from that, but you're still running the same protection mechanism back then? He goes, fuck, I never thought about that. And I go, well, is this now standing in your way? Because the reality is, like, mate, you like the strategy, you like the plan, you said you're ready, you know, it lines up with you. What's the one thing you think still standing in your way? And he goes, yeah, I'm still running this old protection mechanism from when I was in my 20s. I go, well, what do you want to do about that? Do you want to keep running with that, or is now an opportunity to change and actually get these goals you want? He goes, yeah, I want to change. I go, so, okay, well, what's the first step, if anything, for you now? And he goes, I need to take this step and make a decision today. Well, are you prepared to do that? So the whole process, you know. But it's good when you see that uncover in terms of that process unfold.
And this is where influence comes into it, right? Because it's like helping
100%.
somebody be able to uncover this themselves, right?
Yeah.
Because that was made on his terms, but he can choose to stay stuck with it if he wants.
Yeah,
it's completely up
that's
to him.
right.
Or here's the opportunity to move forward.
And I've used that same thing, and a guy recently, and he still defaulted back to, I still want to go away. And I just said, well, okay, well, let's just call it what it is. You're just not prepared to back yourself today, and that's totally fine. And I didn't make him wrong about it or shame. I go, so it's a no today? He goes, yeah. And I said, it's not that you need to go away and think about it. It's not that you need more information. Let's just call it what it is. And you own that, because then you're in the driver's seat. It goes, you're just not prepared to make the decision today based on what we just discussed. So two people done exactly the same process. Yeah. Someone still defaulted back because I still don't like the way it feels now. I feel uncomfortable. I want to feel safe and comfortable and push this off for another day. But at least he owned it, and he thanked me. He said, man, I agree. I'm just not ready.
That's the thing. Manipulation may have gone the other way, right? Manipulation, or the wrong person in that position they may have, enhanced them to feel shame, to feel bad, to feel guilty about what they were doing. Whereas influencing and persuading is just asking questions, allow them to make the decision.
Yeah. Well, I said, I want you to be ready. I also want you to own what's really going on here, because that'll be more empowering for you. Because if it's that I just don't make decisions of the day, I need more time to think, that's not, let's just call it, that's bullshit. That's not the case. So let's just own that. And when you are ready, and I want you to be ready, then you can reach out to me. But I don't want you either starting this, and my job is not to convince you or persuade you.
And that's exactly also turning up and not needing the sale. It's turning up and going, hey, I want to help this person. I know what this person's capable of. I know what we can deliver. However, I do not need this sale. Whether this person does it or not, that's completely their decision, and they got to take their ownership on it.
With my skill set, could I have manipulated him and keep going? Yeah. But I guarantee it wouldn't have been a good experience, and he would have felt that later and gone, that guy just fucking manipulated me or talked me into it, and
buyer's remorse, and then problems in the business.
Yep,
absolutely.
And when we get down the track of the people we've had turn up to our meetings, and they've had consults with other practitioners where they've had some horror experiences of massive levels of manipulation and guilt and shame.
If you're really serious about this, you'll be getting your credit card at the end, and fucking otherwise you're not really cut out to be almost like that. Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
We've seen it as well. I've seen it many times as well. And that's, I think it's not good that it happens, but it's good that people get to experience that versus someone that actually wants to genuinely help them. Because they're both out there. Like personal trainers, there's great personal trainers and there's shit personal trainers.
And again, that's when I'd say it's a numbers game, and the only people that are going to be persuaded by that are people, again, who aren't solid in themselves, and they're easily manipulated because they're not, it's obviously impacted them. So someone said that to me, it'd be a different story.
Pretzel time.
Possibly. It'd be, is there anything that we haven't discussed or talked about that you think is important for us to cover?
Mate, I think, you know what? I think we've covered a lot already. I think the thing for me is getting into this journey. I didn't know, and business is the same. Sales business, just whenever you're challenging yourself. What I've loved about this journey is not the first reason that I wanted to get into it. I got into it. I trusted the process. I met some great people, and I was willing to learn and grow and be coached and be mentored. But what happened off the back end of that was just, I would have never thought that I'd have some of the opportunities and be able to live the life that I live now and have the skill set that I have. So I think for me, it's the thing that I always want to get across to the people that I coach and my students that I teach sales, or anyone that I'm able to have an impact on, is, taking the first step and really trusting yourself, but getting out of that comfort zone, and just, it doesn't even need to have a bigger picture to start with, but just making sure that you're doing the reps every single day.
Yeah.
And what I've found is that, like I said before, the person that I've become through the process is the person I never would have thought this would be possible. And now I can help people do the same thing. So sales, business, I just think anyone that's in this game, sales, business, whatever you're doing at a high level, doing the reps and making sure, my thing is always, I want to look back when I'm 50 and go, good on you, dude. Well done. You gave that a fucking crack. And, I'm on my way, and, it's been a lot of fun.
It's all you're going to be left with.
Yeah.
Is what you're going to look back on. Yeah.
And the beauty of all this is completely transferable to every other aspect of your life, and that's again, what we see in high performers, right? It's like you do the reps, and then that carries over to each and every part of your being.
Yeah.
Yeah, things will be tough through the journey. Good.
Fucking
it's not enjoyable.
Bring it on.
It's fucking not fun at all. However, they're the times where you're really going to learn and grow. They're the times that you're really going to learn and grow and develop. And what's at the back end of that is that's where success is, just at the back end of that.
Yeah. Well, if you can't handle that part, like I said, you won't handle the success.
Yeah.
Well, mate, absolutely outstanding having you here. Like, again, having you as one of our coaches, presenters, team members, but the connection, the friendship, watching We have had the pleasure of watching you grow. Went from when you were a fanboy back when we first met you.
I was a fucking fanboy. Yeah.
But now, like, this is the part I want to get across, is that now you have dedicated your self to this role, and we get the benefit. Like, you know, how many chats have I had, and how many I'm hearing things that you're doing, and you're sharing, you know, your process with me, and that's what I love about surrounding yourself with the like-minded people. But you had to make those first steps. We got in contact. You were a client, and now I'm consulting with you, going, "Hey, man, fucking, what are you doing? How are you doing it? You had this situation, and and you know, we're sharing feedback, and that's the part that I love the most. It's you know, everyone benefits when you always want to step up and make yourself better. So yeah, mate, it's been an absolute honour to see you just continue to grow and develop. It's been outstanding.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same guy who was balking when he was signing up to the program the first time?
Yeah. No worry, I had to deal with him.
I think Sheppy had a few follow-ups with me to sign me up. Is that right? Maybe
yeah, I do
follow-ups?
recall that. And I remember we sorted something out to get you going, didn't we? And but yeah, man, it's just such an absolute pleasure. I mean, this guy bleeds Trainer HQ, doesn't he, in terms of his energy and his enthusiasm. And so, mate, we're just so grateful to have you in our circle for all these years. And then we watch all the people that you've impacted. And that's the ripple effect, eh? We just keep watching it happen. Yeah. And now in the new space that you've been operating in, like, how fucking cool, man. So a huge congrats, brother, because we're so proud of you.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks, lads.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Brad Davis.
Yeah.
Boom.